Photographs allow us to capture memories of happy times with those we love. From vintage photographs of relatives to those documenting important milestones, photos are incredibly important. Today's video will explore 5 times that photographs solved crimes. Number 5. 72-year-old David Lee Niles vanished on the evening of October 11, 2006. David, who had recently been battling cancer and depression, was last seen at Jake's Bar in Byron Center, Michigan. At some point during the evening, David abruptly left the bar without telling any of his friends where he was going. After that evening, David was never seen again. Friends immediately began to panic, as David wasn't doing too well at the time. Suffering from cancer and depression is enough to put anyone in a bad headspace. His disappearance was reported to police, though there were no sightings of David after he left the bar and no witnesses to come forward. Slowly, David's case turned cold, much to the dismay of friends and family. The prevailing theory was that David had taken his own life, and if that was the case, family and friends simply wanted to know where his body was so they could give him one final send-off and funeral. Fast forward to 9 years later. On November 10, 2015, when Brian Houseman was using a cherry picker to decorate a Christmas tree outside of Cook Funeral Home in Byron Center, Michigan. As he was decorating and looking over the landscape, something in the lake off 84th Street Southwest caught his eye. It looked like a car submerged in the water. This stuck in the back of Brian's mind, and when he got home, he used satellite images from Google Maps to confirm that there was indeed a car in the lake. Knowing about the mysterious disappearance of David years earlier, he called this into police, who were able to recover the car and confirm that it was David's. After 9 long years, his family had answers as to what had finally happened to their loved one. Number 4. David Soanes of Derbyshire, England, was gutted to find out that his $12,000 caravan had been stolen from his front yard. The family were planning to take the caravan out for a family holiday and quickly reported the incident to police. While not as serious as other crimes mentioned in this video, theft of property is still a crime that needs to be taken seriously and resolved in a timely manner. PC Adrian Mason and Derbyshire police estimate that the caravan was stolen between 9:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. when all members of the Soanes family were out of the house. The case soon fizzled out until 9 months later when one of the Soanes' children was looking through Google Maps. Their son, 11-year-old Ruben, was searching up his own home on Google Maps when he discovered a lead. It just so happened that the Google Maps car was passing through their estate that day and captured the burglar in the act. The image taken from that day reveals a middle-aged balding man on the front drive of the Soanes' home. The man is standing next to his 4x4 and appears to be in the process of hooking up the caravan to steal it. PC Mason told the Daily Mail, quote, "It's amazing that we have such a clear image of the man. I've made extensive inquiries since the image was discovered, but because the plates on the 4x4 are blanked out, we've been unable to trace the man through his car. At first, Google refused to release the man's registration number due to privacy concerns. However, after Derbyshire police threatened Google with a court order, they gave up the information. They were able to question and arrest the 49-year-old man in connection with the burglary. When asked about the incident, David Soanes told newspapers, "We've decided to forget about caravanning now and have bought a tent instead." Number 3. Much like the case of David Lee Niles, the case of William Moult has also been solved by locating his car on Google Maps. On November 7, 1997, 40-year-old William Moult disappeared from Palm Beach, Florida after he didn't return from a night out. According to his girlfriend, he called her at around 9:30 p.m. from a nightclub in Palm Beach, telling her he wouldn't be out much longer and would be home within the next few hours. He finished up his drinks and got into his car to drive home, but never arrived. Heartbroken, his girlfriend called the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office to report him missing. There were no signs of William, and it seemed that he had simply disappeared off the face of the earth. With no signs of foul play either, police had very little to work with. Time passed and the case of William Moult grew colder and colder, but for his family and friends, there wasn't a day that went by that they didn't think about him. William's case would lay dormant for 22 years until a chance discovery finally provided his family with the answers they'd so desperately been searching for. It was in August of 2019 that an estate surveyor was using Google Maps to look at the Grand Isle area of Wellington and came across what he believed to be a car and a pond in the Moon Bay Circle area. He spoke to locals in the area who told him about William's case and offered up assistance, using his drone to further survey the area. When the drone was flown out to the pond, it was confirmed that there was a submerged car in there, and police were called to the scene. Police were able to perform a recovery operation and pulled the car from the water. A week later, the remains inside were identified as William Moult. Palm Beach County investigators believed that William was intoxicated and lost control of his car, plunging him into the lake. Therese Barbera, a spokesperson for the sheriff's office, told BBC News, "You can't determine what happened that many years ago. All we know is that he went missing off the face of the earth and now he's been discovered." William's family have since been informed and asked for privacy in their time of mourning. It's since transpired that William's car was visible on Google Maps since 2007, but no one made the connection until 2019. Number 2. On June 13, 1993, people taking a walk around a reservoir in New York made a heartbreaking discovery. Submerged in the water was the body of a man wearing a backpack filled with 38 pounds of rocks. Among the crime scene, police found a black and white photograph from either the 50s or 60s of an elderly gentleman posing with a toddler. With the photograph being their only clue, police attempted to track down the toddler in the photograph as they believed this was their victim. However, the case soon turned cold. No one came forward to say that they recognized the toddler or the man. The man found in the reservoir that day didn't match any missing persons reports, and his fingerprints didn't appear on any databases. It wasn't until years later that police decided to reopen the cold case as part of a cold case task force. Police circulated the photo throughout the local media, and it caught the attention of a retired teacher, Terry Yakubish. Terry told police that she recognized the building that the pair were standing in front of. It was an old church auditorium. She told them that she recognized the building to be in Long Island, not Massachusetts as previously speculated. Terry also told local newspapers, "The moment I saw that picture, I knew exactly where it was." Armed with this information, police traveled to the small village of Brookhaven, and lo and behold, the building from the photograph was still standing. Through the use of land ownership records and talking to residents, police were able to find that the Bookless family had lived there until their house had burned down. The Westchester County's medical examiner then used dental records to confirm that the 1993 John Doe was in fact Andrew Bookless. Police cannot confirm whether Andrew's death was a suicide or an accident. The main speculation by the medical examiner is that Andrew fell through the ice on the reservoir months before he was found. Either way, Andrew's family has welcomed the resolution to the case and are happy that Andrew is finally home. Number 1. A woman simply known for 40 years as the Orange Sox Jane Doe was identified when a family member came forward after an updated composite sketch was made. On October 31st, 1979, the body of a young woman was found in a drainage ditch in Georgetown, Texas. She was naked apart from wearing a pair of orange socks, leading to the name Orange Sox Jane Doe. Her cause of death was listed as strangulation, and it appeared that she'd been thrown from an overpass, leading to her final resting place. She had extensive bruising and injuries to her body, and bloodstains were found at the crime scene. However, police had a hard time distinguishing between injuries sustained from the attack and those from being thrown from the overpass. Police released the following details about Orange Sox. They knew that she was between 18 and 30 years old, had reddish-brown hair and hazel eyes. She had unique earlobes along with unusually long toes and suffered from gonorrhea. Lots of other evidence was found at the scene, such as a homemade sanitary towel and matchbooks from a hotel in Henrietta, Oklahoma, leading investigators to speculate that she was a hitchhiker. Henry Lee Lucas confessed to Orange Sox's case, but told police that he didn't know her name. only that she'd gone by Joannie or Joni or even Judy. It was later concluded that although Lucas confessed, he wasn't in Texas at the time and therefore could not be responsible. It wouldn't be until 2019 that Orange Sox would finally get her name back. In late 2019, new reconstruction photographs were made and circulated around the US with the help of the DNA Doe Project, who dedicate their services to bringing the unknown back home. These new images caught the eye of a woman who claimed the orange Sox Jane Doe looked a lot like her sister, Deborah Jackson. Her sister revealed that she last saw Deborah in 1977 when she left their home in Abilene, Texas, to work in Amarillo and Azle, Texas. From there, her family didn't hear much from her and assumed that Deborah was happy and getting on with her life, and would be in contact when she was ready. Thus, why a missing persons report was never filed for the 23-year-old. Taking this lead very seriously in an otherwise stone-cold case, police took DNA samples from the woman claiming to be Orange Sox's sister, and it was a match. DNA confirmed that the Orange Sox Jane Doe who had died in 1979 was Deborah Jackson. Although it took 40 years, Deborah and her family finally had closure. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.